everybody. Welcome back to the Click and Mortar podcast. Dustin and Mike here with you again. We took a little bit of a break. I was actually out of town for a bit, and we're back and excited this week to talk about B2B lead generation and specifically omnichannel marketing for B2B lead generation and omnichannel advertising. In that capacity, we've talked to a lot of clients who have a lot of troubles and challenges with really implementing a true omnichannel strategy, advertising-wise, across all channels. When it comes to B2B lead generation, a lot of people are, let's call it, stuck in the box or think that they're stuck in the box of LinkedIn. And we're here to tell you that you don't have to be stuck in the box of LinkedIn. We're going to talk about our playbook and our strategy a little bit for those of you who are interested in B2B lead generation and want to have some insight into how you can employ an omni-channel advertising strategy with B2B. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Dustin to talk some about the channels and the approach and the playbook, and we'll have a little bit of a back and forth with questions. So Dustin, to you with top level thoughts on omnichannel advertising for B2B, and then get into our playbook a little bit.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head pretty well with everyone thinks that they're stuck in LinkedIn, and really our playbook is we try to have every channel or the traditional channels, the LinkedIn, Google search, the Googles, YouTube, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, and even more depending on your particular audience. But kind of our playbook identifies where can we introduce the brand and the ICPs that are gonna make financial sense. There's the introducing of the brand and doing it on LinkedIn, where the CPMs or the cost to serve impressions are $150, $200. It's an expensive handshake, where some of these channels like YouTube or even Meta are $10, $20 CPMs or to serve 1,000 impressions. So we take a very data-driven approach using financials in that approach as well, on at what stage is the user in, what channel is best to use as we look at the financials as well. And honestly, there's a lot of B2B approaches that we take where LinkedIn is a very, very small part of our overall media spend. So our approach is use every channel, identify where the user is in the journey, and figure out what's going to be the most ROI positive path to get someone to convert.
So you bring up a good point there. Some folks out there may think, well, my B2B prospects are on LinkedIn. That's where they are. Those are the people that I want to get in front of. And there are limited targeting capabilities within the other channels to get in front of the people that they want to get in front of, right? It's a little bit of a linear mindset that we come across when people are initially exposed to this idea. Basically, hey, my prospects are on LinkedIn. That's where I want to talk to them. So obviously we disagree with that and know that people are elsewhere, and omnichannel kind of assumes that people are elsewhere and they're not just linearly on LinkedIn looking for business contacts. They are everywhere. So given that in the playbook, can you talk a little bit about how we approach that and why we approach it that way? And then obviously we have some proprietary tools that we use to both gather audience data and push placements to platforms, which we can get into a little bit. But just more of the mindset of the strategy of, hey, we employ an omnichannel strategy for B2B because of this. This is why it makes sense.
Absolutely. I think the assumption that it's only on LinkedIn is just the assumption that you can't target the right person on those other platforms. I think in conversation, we can all agree that, there's 6 billion people on Facebook. So chances are your audience is there. Just how hard is it to target them? And that's really where our unique approach comes in, and where these other channels actually make sense. And, the first, there's some ad tech that we use. We've had them on the podcast. There's Say Primer. Works like the Apollos, all those normal lead scraping tools that you'll get contact information. You put business size, revenue size, what industries, what job titles do you want to go after? And this tool will find those people and then make them a targetable audience in Google and Meta. So no longer can you not target, your people. If you're using, the native targeting, it's going to be very hard. You're going to waste 90% of your budget because chances are you're reaching the direct to consumer user. So that's one tool that we use that helps effectiveness and efficiency quite a bit and opens up the opportunity for all these more cost-effective channels. The other is a well-built and well-segmented CRM. We could use first-party data, and it works really well. And typically, we'll get Primer going, we'll get leads going, and if we can get the CRM and get the data available, we'll push it to the ad platforms and start using first-party data, sales, revenue data to start allowing these platforms to find the audience. And when we do that, it works really well. But again, you have to have a really fine-tuned CRM, really segmented, and a sales team that's actually using it with the correct data.
Talk a little bit about approach and strategy per channel. So YouTube, Google, Facebook, Insta, these types of things, how we approach campaign strategy, whether it's targeting, retargeting, and how that overlays the different channels that are available for.
Absolutely. Google, I love. They're the king of search intent. And if you can get in front of search intent and you know what someone's searching for, they're in line with your product or service. It's easy to identify them at the bottom of the funnel. So, there's Google search. The problem is the CPMs and the costs are extremely expensive. So we like to prospect using LinkedIn or YouTube, if there's available assets. You can get in front of users based on what they're searching for in Google with custom intents. So you can get in front of people on what they're searching. So it's bottom of the funnel tactics, but then we can use the $10, $15 CPMs and really inexpensive impressions to get in front of them the first time. Again, it's using other ad technology, what people are searching for within Google to make that handshake. And really what we want them to do is get to know the brand and really drive them to the website. Once we get them to the website, that's where we really like to focus on the Meta, the Facebook and Instagram, where visually we can tell that story. Let's visually show the customers, clients that you're working with. Let's visually show the data, the testimonials. Let's show more of the videos and really humanize the brand through that channel. And then once we do that, we then deploy LinkedIn, Meta, and PPC to really drive that bottom of the funnel and that conversion. So we definitely use different ad channels based on their targeting and ad units available to help tell the story based on where that user is in your overall funnel.
We've talked about this on a couple podcasts, and it continues to resonate with me from a content perspective and using social for your content and to use that in kind of the middle of the funnel from a retargeting perspective, so that you have content consumption on those channels, further engagement with the user, and then moving them further along in the funnel. Again, there is a mindset out there that business content is consumed on LinkedIn. Not true. That's not how people operate. You are on Instagram and Facebook, you may see some business content and you're going to consume it if it's relevant to your journey, right? And so that part of the strategy and funnel is a key part. Another key part that haven't directly talked about, and maybe we can do another podcast on this, is video production and the use of video production. A lot of people don't get into video because it's too expensive. But if you can offset that cost by cheaper CPMs and build your audience from it, that's advantageous for you as a customer. You want to utilize those assets and amortize that cost across everything. And if you can get, like you were saying, cheaper CPMs from using that channel, which you can then retarget to, that's a smart use of funds, right? I don't know if you have any comments on that, but these are the things that when you were speaking are coming up from me and all these pieces tying together.
Yeah, no, you hit up on great points. That's just lighting my accounting side of the brain up, because it's like everyone tries to find how you can, 2x what you're doing. And to your point, it's like, videos do such a good job on the front end to introduce the brand and do audience building. And if we can go from a little bit better video production, go from a 12-cent view down to 1 cent, you've literally just 12x'd what you could do, and it's 12x cheaper to build that audience. And in theory, that is way more of a needle mover than, a landing page test that might take it from 2 to 3% conversion rate. So playing with these little economics where a couple pennies can make a difference in 10xing the amount of engaged audience that you can retarget, which then offsets the cost of the production. So, you get in the nitty gritty, and it's just amazing what one little thing could do. You improve your CTR by, go from 2 to 10%, you just 5x the traffic. And if you have a good, 2% conversion rate, in theory, you just 5x your sales by moving the needle on CTR. And that's all through better content, better video, along with audience targeting and whatnot. But, I don't like to only focus on CTR and some of those things. To me, they're vanity metrics unless you can correlate them to that end result and start doing the things that impact that, like 5xing your traffic with the same budget. Again, those are needle moving things, but I think over romancing about a CTR and not having anything to do with it or how it impacts the end result, I think is where too many people get lost.
We are uncovering a number of subjects for next podcast. So the benefit of video and video production and video use of video in ads, how different metrics at top of the funnel impact bottom of the funnel and your conversion and your eventual goal that you are driving towards. All of these things are important. So I think hopefully we'll start to wrap up here. I think hopefully this exposed to some of you out there that number one, there is omni-channel marketing and omni-channel advertising when it comes to B2B. And these are some of the different approaches that you can use and should be using and should be thinking about, along with the different creative assets when it comes to B2B marketing. Hopefully we've opened up your aperture a bit and you have some more look into the possibilities here and how it's going to affect your bottom line. That is the bottom line, is that if you're out there just advertising on LinkedIn and spending incredibly high CPMs and it's not quote unquote working for you, maybe you need to dig a little bit deeper. And to that end, we're here to dig deeper with you if you want to set up a call.
I got a shovel.
We got plenty of shovels. So any last words before we sign off on this topic?
Just want to reiterate what you said. B2B is not just LinkedIn, and there's massive opportunity outside there because no one else is doing it. So you'll be one of the only few B2B marketers doing it, which attention's the name of the game. So test it, see what happens. Absolutely. We have what we think is a fantastic playbook for B2B marketing outside of just LinkedIn on this omni-channel presence and way from an advertising perspective. So if we've piqued your interest, click the buttons, book discovery calls with us. We love talking to people and just strategizing around what you can do, what you are doing, and lay out a map for you. Whether you work with us or not, we love laying out the maps and hopefully expanding your horizon. So again, click those book a discovery call buttons with us and get a time on our calendar. We'd love to chat. So for now, we'll sign off on that. Dustin, thank you for your insights and your wisdom, and we will see you all next time.